Good morning. We are harvesting in the garden this morning, and I thought this was the perfect opportunity to bring you along and give you a bit of a garden tour. My kids have a tendency of coming out and scavenging the beans, eating them as snacks, so we've got lots and lots of bean plants, but we don't actually get to eat that many of the beans because they don't make it to the table. But it's not the worst problem to have in the world, I suppose. For as long as I can remember, I've always wanted to have a thriving veggie patch. Though to be honest, it's not until recent years where I've actually been able to make this dream come true. The idea of being able to provide a bountiful harvest from your own backyard has always entranced me. And now I gain great joy from the simple act of coming out every morning and watering my garden, seeing what's been growing and what needs tending. If my gardening had a style, I would say that I lean towards cottage gardening with a more productive and in some cases medicinal intention. I love gardens that are messy and sprawling with no real neat lines. All the plants just merge into each other and seem to provide such a beautiful ecosystem for all the creatures that reside inside them. As you can probably tell, I like to have my flowering plants in amongst my productive plants, and this is for a variety of reasons. Having flowering plants in amongst my vegetables encourages pollinators to come and visit all the plants. In turn, this increases your yield. Additionally, predatory bugs like lady beetles are then drawn to the area, and they prey on many of the insects that you don't want in your garden, like aphids. Beyond that, I gain great joy from just looking at all the different colours and textures within my garden. My garden is as much for mental health as it is for production. Around our little veggie patch, you'll often notice that I've let things go to seed, and this is for a very good reason. Sustainability and permaculture are just some of the concepts we're trying to incorporate into our homestead. This means that we are saving seeds wherever we can in order to plant them again next season. And in cases like the coriander, we are letting it go to seed so that we may collect the seeds and use them in cooking later on. My husband and I collect herbs and produce from the garden every day for our meals that night. Tonight's meal will be a hearty chicken stew, and I'm collecting chives, spring onions, chilies, rosemary, and a few other vegetables. These are my very first vine-ripened tomatoes from this season. Whoop. So it's a little bit exciting that I actually got to them before the birds or my children. Hopefully they taste as good as they look. These taller raised gardening beds that my husband made for me have been a game changer for my gardening. Not only do I not get a sore back bending over in the garden every day, I find that we have far less weeds than we usually would in an in-ground bed. We filled up these beds using the hugelkultur method, where you put larger logs and then progressively smaller logs towards the top to fill up the beds. The last 30 centimeters or so is the good quality soil that you use to feed your garden with. Over time, the logs and sticks break down and provide a greater range of organic matter for your plants. As I wander the garden each morning, I carry a sharp pair of secateurs so that I can deadhead plants as I go. They are also perfect for harvesting small bouquets for the house. Our larger, more intrusive crops like pumpkins or rhubarb usually get planted out in pots, and that way we can move them around the yard so they're not getting in the way and they're not taking over our garden. This year I've been experimenting with succession planting of crops, and this has meant that I have several different crops at different stages of development, and we're able to harvest for a much longer season. So far this has been working fantastically. We've had ongoing crops of many of our vegetables, and our fridge is overflowing. In additional news on the homestead, we ended up adopting 2 baby wood ducks that got left behind by their parents, so we are putting them in the brood box and looking after them till they're big enough to fend for themselves. We'll then put them in with our girls, and if they fly off, they fly off. We also have 2 mama hens who have insisted on both brooding on the same nest, and that has resulted in having a huge amount of eggs at varying points of development. So we woke up the other morning to a surprise floof that had hatched before all the others. But do you know what is almost as sweet as cute new chicks? B-roll. If you enjoyed watching this tour of the Mulvey Cottage Veggie Patch Garden, then please like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the notification bell. Thanks for watching.